Have you ever opened a history book and thought, wait, could everything I learned be a lie? Imagine discovering that the heroes and villains you grew up with might not be who you think they are. Picture this. A student in class stumbles on a shocking fact that flips the story upside down. Suddenly, everything feels different. Why do we accept these stories without question? Here's the truth. Much of what we know about history's most famous names is built on myths, rumors, and sometimes outright lies, crafted by those with the power to shape the narrative. But what if the villain had a reason, and the hero had a secret? What if the real story is far messier, and way more fascinating than you ever imagined? Before we reveal the secrets, ask yourself, have you ever wondered why some stories just don't add up? That's not an accident. It's by design. Here's a practical tip. Next time you hear a story that sounds too simple, dig deeper. Ask who benefits from that version. You'll be amazed at what you uncover, even in your own life. So, are you ready to challenge everything you thought you knew? This is Omniverse Network, where we uncover the real stories behind the legends. Subscribe to Omniverse Network for more mind-blowing truths and practical life lessons. Number 5, Vlad the Impaler, Dracula in real life, or a misunderstood national hero. The truth behind the legend will shock you. Let's be clear. Vlad III, Prince of Wallachia, a region in modern-day Romania, was not a nice guy. And his preferred method of execution, impalement, was undeniably horrific. He used it to punish criminals, corrupt nobles, and foreign invaders alike. There's no whitewashing the sheer terror he employed as a tool of statecraft. Wallachia was a small Christian principality caught in a geopolitical vice between two massive, expanding empires, German pamphlets and an Irish novelist. Bram Stoker turned Vlad into Dracula. The fiction eclipsed the real man. To his people, he was a hero. So, was Vlad a monster or a misunderstood hero? Let me know in the comments below. Number 4. Thomas Edison, the light bulb guy, right? But did you know about his rivalry with Tesla and the controversies that followed? But the real story is a lot more complicated and a lot less heroic. Did Edison invent it? No. He was a genius at perfecting and patenting inventions. His laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey was essentially the world's first industrial research and development lab. He was a ruthless businessman, earning the nickname the Patent Troll of Menlo Park from his rivals. Hollywood exists in part because people were running away from Thomas Edison. The story behind the man who perfected it is filled with just as much shadow as it is with light. Coming in at number 3, a name synonymous with seduction and power, Cleopatra. For centuries her image has been shaped and reshaped, often reduced to a caricature of a femme fatale. But the Hollywood glamour and Roman slander conceal a figure of immense intellect and political acumen, a ruler far more complex than the myth suggests. First, let's clear up a common misconception. She wasn't Egyptian by blood, she was Greek, the final ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty. For 300 years, her family ruled Egypt without learning the native tongue. Cleopatra broke with this tradition, becoming the first in her line to speak Egyptian fluently, a powerful political statement. The historian Plutarch tells us she was a gifted polyglot, speaking at least 9 languages. This allowed her to negotiate directly with foreign ambassadors, from Parthians to Ethiopians, without an interpreter, giving her a profound diplomatic advantage. Her famous relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony were not just romantic flings, they were calculated political alliances. With Caesar she secured her precarious throne, and in return Caesar gained access to Egypt's immense wealth to pay his legions. Her later alliance with Mark Antony was even bolder, a joint venture to forge a new Eastern Empire with Alexandria as its capital. This wasn't just about love, it was a geopolitical chess match for the future of the Mediterranean, a direct challenge to Antony's rival Octavian. This ambition made her Octavian's primary target. To justify a civil war against Antony, a fellow Roman, Octavian launched one of history's most effective smear campaigns. He painted Cleopatra as a decadent, foreign sorceress, an Eastern temptress who had bewitched Antony with spells and sex, seeking to enslave Rome. This xenophobic propaganda was brutally effective, transforming a political dispute into a war to save Roman civilization from a dangerous foreign queen. The real Cleopatra was a formidable intellectual and a political genius who fought to preserve her nation's independence against the encroaching might of Rome. She was a scholar, a naval commander, and a ruler who understood power on a global scale. The image of the seductress was a weapon used against her by her enemies. The woman behind the myth was far more capable and brilliant than that caricature. What do you think? Was Cleopatra a victim of masterful propaganda? Drop your thoughts below. Coming in at number 2, a name synonymous with genius, eccentricity, and cosmic tragedy, Nikola Tesla. He's the quintessential mad scientist, gaunt, with piercing eyes, surrounded by man-made lightning. He claimed to receive signals from Mars and fell in love with a pigeon. But was this eccentric genius truly unhinged, or was he the pivotal, unsung hero of the modern age? The history books often skim over the corporate sabotage and personal rivalries that sought to erase him from the narrative. Wait until you hear what they deliberately left out. Let's start with the foundation of our electrified world. In the late 19th century, Thomas Edison's direct current, or DC, was king, but it was inefficient, needing a power station every square mile. The world was on a short electrical leash. Then came Tesla. He championed alternating current, or AC, a system that could transmit immense power over vast distances. It's the very system powering the device you're watching this on. The visionary behind it, Nikola Tesla. Edison, seeing his empire threatened, waged a vicious war of propaganda. In the infamous War of the Currents, he sought to prove AC was dangerous by publicly electrocuting animals, a spectacle culminating with Topsy the elephant. It was a brutal attempt to demonize his rival's superior technology, but Tesla ultimately won. The 1893 Chicago World's Fair, powered by his AC system, proved its supremacy to the world. But Tesla's ambitions soared beyond power grids. He dreamed of a world wireless system. With his Wardenclyffe Tower, funded by financier J.P. Morgan, he envisioned a global network transmitting not just information, but energy itself, freely, through the air. Imagine wireless charging on a global scale. That was his goal a century ago. But when J.P. Morgan realized Tesla wanted to give power away for free, he pulled the plug. The central question was damning. How do you put a meter on free energy? Tesla's dream of empowering humanity clashed with the capitalist impulse to monetize resources. His altruism was his undoing, his funding vanished, and he died penniless in a New York hotel room. But his legacy is everywhere. He held over 300 patents, pioneering radio, remote controls, and robotics. He was simply ahead of his time, so far ahead the world is still catching up. The principles behind Wi-Fi and wireless charging are echoes of his vision. So, how much of Tesla's real story did you know? And which of his incredible, world-changing inventions shocks you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 1. Mary Magdalene. Was she really a repentant prostitute, or did history get her all wrong? But here's the thing. There is absolutely zero, and I mean zero, biblical evidence to support this claim. It was Pope Gregory who decided to conflate Mary Magdalene with several other unnamed women in the Gospels, including an anonymous sinner who anointed Jesus' feet. According to all 4 canonical Gospels, Mary Magdalene was the first person to witness the resurrected Jesus. She was the one entrusted with the news, earning her the ancient title Apostle to the Apostles. It's a story not of a fallen woman, but of a formidable leader whose legacy was intentionally suppressed. Did you know the real story of Mary Magdalene? Share your thoughts below. So there you have it. It goes to show that history isn't a collection of facts set in stone, it's a narrative. A story told by the winners, the powerful, and sometimes the people with the best propaganda machine. It makes you wonder how many other facts we take for granted are just well-told lies. If you enjoyed having your mind blown, hit subscribe to Omniverse Network for more untold stories and practical life lessons from history's most misunderstood figures. Subscribe now.